Drums echoed through the air. Women in flamboyant Ankara wrappers danced in circles, their wrists jingling with beads. The Green Hill Heritage Festival was in full swing. Men in embroidered caftans rode decorated horses. Youths waved fans and chanted praises of the chief. The sun bathed everything in golden light, but the heat in Tara's chest had nothing to do with the weather. In the center of the celebration stood Chief Roland Adams, tall, proud and regal in white lace adorned with coral beads. His presence commanded attention. He waved at the crowd with authority, his deep voice rising above the music. Today the gods smile upon us. Beside him stood his daughter, Tara, 17, sharp-tongued, educated, and utterly uninterested in the ceremony. Her head wrap tilted slightly as if mirroring her discomfort. Her lips were drawn in a tight, polite smile, but her eyes burned with irritation. She did not want to be here. Later that evening, in the Grand family compound, the Adams family gathered for a feast. Plates of jollof rice, egusi, and suya filled the long table. The room glowed with candlelight and chatter. Tara sat between her stepmother and cousin, tapping her fingers against her porcelain plate, her mind elsewhere. Chief Roland cleared his throat, silencing the room. Today, I will make an announcement. He stood, placing a hand on Tara's shoulder. Tara, my jewel, the pride of my house, will soon be joined in marriage. Gasps and murmurs filled the hall. Tara froze, her fork suspended mid-air. What? Her voice cracked. Dad, you never told me this. You will be wed to Jason Williams, heir to the Kingswell royal family, the chief said with finality. It is the wish of our ancestors. Tara stood up, fury trembling in her limbs. What about my wish? I'm not some property to be traded between kings. You will do as your lineage commands. Her father replied, his tone sharp and cold. Enough of this childish rebellion. The next day at school, Tara stormed through the hallway of Green Hill Royal Academy, her heels clicking with defiance. Students stared. Whispers followed her. Did you hear? The chief's daughter is getting married. She looks pissed. Tara pushed open the art studio door. The smell of paint and wood instantly calmed her. Inside, Daniel stood by an easel, lost in brushstrokes. He was quiet, soft-spoken, and deeply talented, a scholarship student from one of the poor areas of town. Daniel, Tara said, breathless. Can we talk? He turned, brushing his dreadlocks from his face. Always. She slumped into a chair, her arms crossed. My father wants to marry me off. To a man I don't know. I feel like a puppet in a play I never auditioned for. You're not a puppet, Tara, Daniel said gently. You're the storm. Their eyes locked. The room seemed to exhale. Back in the village, gossip spread like harmattan fire. Did you hear? Whispered a market woman as she sliced open yams. The chief's daughter was seen with that boy, that painter from the slums. God forbid. Another replied, throwing her hands up. That union must never be allowed. She's promised to royalty. At school, Tara and Daniel walked out of class together when a group of elite students blocked their path. Vanessa, Tara's childhood rival and cousin to Jason, stood at the center, arms folded, eyes sharp. So this is the commoner you disgrace your family with? Vanessa spat. No wonder they say you think you're better than everyone. Daniel remained calm. Respect is earned, not bought. Vanessa scoffed. You'll regret humiliating the prince. You think this school gossip is bad? Wait till the tabloids get it. That night, Chief Roland Adams met with a slick politician and Jason Williams in a dark veranda. Sipping palm wine and talking in low tones. If this marriage happens, the chief said, my daughter becomes queen, and my domain expands. Jason gave a sly smile. I will not be embarrassed. That painter must be silenced. Permanently. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Meanwhile, Tara began writing letters to Daniel, slipping them secretly into his paint locker. I don't want a crown. I want to be free. I want us. But I don't know if love is enough. Their love bloomed in silence, inked with longing and the weight of consequences. The bell had long rung, but Tara didn't leave the art room. Her eyes stayed fixed on the canvas Daniel had left behind. A faceless woman with storm clouds blooming from her head. Something in it called to her, and she knew. It was her. She walked home in silence, the weight of everything pressing harder with each step. That night, as she sat in her room, muffled voices drifted up from the courtyard. She quietly moved closer to the window, recognizing the tone of power when she heard it. Her father was holding court again, and Jason was there too. We must act swiftly, Chief, she heard Jason say. The longer this drags, the more people talk. I agree, her father replied. The engagement must be formalized soon. She's distracted. Jason let out a dry laugh. A girl of her age needs structure, and a man to keep her focused. Tara's fingers clenched. They were planning her future like it was a business deal. No questions, no choice. The next morning, Vanessa's message came early. It was cold and sharp. Check the group chat. Hope you like surprises. Tara's heart thudded as she opened the app. The photo hit her like a punch, a grainy image of her walking beside Daniel. Heads close, his sketchbook tucked under his arm. But worse than the photo were the screenshots beneath it. Pages from her journal. Words she had written for Daniel. Words like, you make me feel like I can breathe. I don't want to belong to anyone else. And the caption above it, Princess of Greenhill, caught slumming. Thoughts? Her classmates had thoughts. Plenty of them. Didn't expect this from her. Guess even royal girls like trouble. He must have worked magic on her. Tara shut the app and tried to breathe. By the time she reached school, Daniel was packing his bag. You saw it? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. Yeah, he said. Whole school's seen it. I didn't. I didn't know Vanessa would. You don't have to explain. It was bound to happen. Please, Daniel, don't go. I'm not angry at you, he said. But I'm not staying. Your father's already made it clear what he thinks of me. I'm just saving everyone the trouble. I can fix this, she said. No, he replied softly. Some things aren't meant to be fixed. By the end of the day, Daniel was gone. No goodbyes. No second chances. That night, her father's study was lit. She heard another voice, a man she didn't recognize. So the boy's gone quiet? The man asked. Yes, her father replied. But we can't leave loose ends. He needs something else. Relocation, maybe. A job in another town. Something to keep him occupied. You want it clean, then? Yes, quiet, no scandal. Tara pressed her ear to the floorboards, trying to hold back the anger rising inside her. They were treating Daniel like an inconvenience to be cleared away. The next morning she waited for her father at breakfast. "You had him pushed out," she said. He looked up, surprised. "I protected you." "From what?" "From the only person who ever saw me for who I am." "You don't understand, Tara. You're not just anyone. You carry our name, our blood. That comes with expectations." "You don't own me," she said. "I raised you, and you raised me to be silent, to smile when I'm breaking, to nod when I want to scream." His voice hardened. "You will marry Jason. You will put this foolishness behind you." "I won't." "You will." She rose from the table. "Then you've already lost me." That night she called her Aunt Mabel. "I need to get out of Greenhill," she said. "I don't care where. Just somewhere quiet. Somewhere far." Her aunt didn't ask why. "Pack your things," she said. "Come tomorrow." Tara looked around her room, filled with luxury and silence. And for the first time she wasn't afraid of leaving. She was afraid of staying. Tara barely slept. Her mind played the scene over and over, the look in Daniel's eyes, the cold dismissal from her father, the hollow sound of her mother's silence at breakfast. Everything she once held together was unraveling. By sunrise her suitcase was packed. Not much, just a few clothes, her journals, and the sketch Daniel had left behind. She tucked it between her books like a secret only she understood. Her aunt's compound was a 2-hour drive away, nestled in the outskirts of a sleepy town called Elmsfield. It was quiet, nothing like Greenhill. No whispers followed her here. No expectations pinned her down. "You'll stay as long as you need," Aunt Mabel said. "But if you're going to hide, hide smart. Don't just lie down. Use this time to rise." Tara nodded, trying to believe it. She enrolled in a small local college under her mother's maiden name. No one knew who she was. For the first time in her life she was anonymous, and it tasted like freedom. But peace was a brief guest. It started with the messages. The first came from Vanessa. "You think running fixes things? Jason's still here, and he's angrier than ever. Be careful." Then another, from an unknown number. "He knows where you are. Your aunt's house. Be ready." And then a knock on the door. Tara froze. Aunt Mabel opened it. Jason stood there in a gray suit, flanked by 2 men in black. His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Good afternoon," he said, too politely. "I came for a visit." Mabel stepped forward. "You're not welcome here." "I think Tara should be the one to say that," Jason replied. Tara came down the stairs slowly. "What do you want?" she asked. "To talk, just us." "I have nothing to say." "Then listen. Your father's been ill since you left. He hasn't slept. The council is restless. People are whispering. That's not my fault." "No? Because the girl who ran away from tradition, the one who humiliated her betrothed and the chief, in one move. She's not just a story anymore. She's a threat." "I don't care what they say," Tara replied. "I won't come back." Jason leaned closer. "You'll come back, Tara, willingly or disgracefully." Aunt Mabel stepped between them. "You step foot here again, and I'll make sure the police see those men behind you. Try anything foolish, and it won't be quiet." Jason laughed bitterly, adjusted his cufflinks, and left. For days, Tara couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Men in black cars lingered near the gate. She changed her routine, deleted her social media, even avoided walking alone. But Green Hill was never far behind. One evening, as she sat at the back of the small campus library, she heard a voice she hadn't expected in months. "I figured you'd be here. Daniel." She turned sharply. He looked thinner, tired, but his eyes still held that spark that first drew her in. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "Looking for you." "Why now?" "I tried to move on. I really did, but I couldn't let them erase you, or us." Tara felt the tears rise before she could stop them. "I'm in danger, Daniel. You shouldn't be here." He sat beside her. "I know, but I think it's time we stopped hiding. They'll come after you. They already did. Lost my internship. My uncle got visits. I have nothing left to lose." Tara looked at him, the boy who saw her before anyone else did. "We have to do this smart," she said. "If they want scandal, let's give them truth. But on our terms." Daniel smiled. "What are you planning?" Tara looked out the window toward the quiet sky. "We tell our story, everything, the secrets, the threats, the lies. But we do it loud enough that no one can shut it down." The video leaked at dawn. A grainy clip of Tara and Daniel sitting in the library. Heads close, voices barely audible. But the message clear. We tell our story, everything. The secrets, the threats, the lies. Within hours, it was everywhere. Tara woke to her phone vibrating violently. Dozens of missed calls. Messages from old classmates. Emails from anonymous accounts. The news blogs ran headlines like, "Daughter of the former chief seen plotting expose with disgraced student." "Green Hill's royal rebel. Tara speaks out." Daniel called her, his voice tight. "It's already viral." They twisted everything. "I know," Tara said. "They're framing it like a coup. They've already contacted my family. My mother's terrified." Aunt Mabel burst into Tara's room, holding her phone. "What in God's name is going on?" Tara swallowed hard. "Someone was watching. They filmed us. Well, now the entire council knows. Your father, he collapsed this morning. He's in the hospital." Tara's knees buckled. "Is he going to be okay?" "They're not telling me much. But it's serious." Guilt hit like a punch to the chest. She hadn't meant for this to go this far. She just wanted truth, freedom. Now she was public enemy #1. Later that afternoon, a dark gray SUV parked outside the compound. Aunt Mabel locked the doors. Tara peered through the curtain. It wasn't Jason this time. It was an older man, Chief Adebayo, the council's lead elder. He left a letter at the gate. Summons. Tara was to return to Green Hill within 3 days, or face tribal sanctions, formal disownment, loss of land rights, and the stripping of her family's name from the ancestral line. Aunt Mabel read it aloud and hissed, "This is war." Daniel urged her to stay put. "They'll try to silence you." "I can't let them erase my family's legacy," she replied. "My father may be many things, but he doesn't deserve to die with shame. But going back without a plan is suicide." Tara bit her lip. "Then we need a plan." The next day, Tara posted a video on her personal account. the first time her face had been seen publicly in months. She looked directly into the camera. "My name is Tara West. My father is Chief Leonard West, former head of Greenhill. I am not ashamed of my heritage, but I refuse to be silenced for choosing my future." She paused. "They tried to marry me off like a prize without my voice. They threatened the man I love, ruined his future. And now they've declared me an enemy. I will no longer be quiet." She uploaded it with the caption, "I choose truth. Hashtag let her decide." It exploded. Support poured in from girls in similar situations, from university students who knew the weight of tradition, from elders who had once dared to rebel and lost. But along with support came threats. Vanessa messaged her again. "You've stirred a hornet's nest, Tara. Jason is furious. His father is pressing for full council punishment. Be careful." That night, as Tara packed her bag for the journey back to Greenhill, Daniel stood by her. "I should go alone," she said. "You'll only get hurt again." "I'm not leaving you." Didn't have to face them alone. Tara looked up, eyes heavy with fear and resolve. "Then let's make sure this ends on our terms." As they drove toward Greenhill the next morning, cameras tracked them. News vans parked at village borders. Elders gathered like vultures in polished robes. The showdown was coming. But what no one knew, not Jason, not the council, not even Tara, was that someone else had been pulling strings from the shadows. And their next move would change everything. The Greenhill Council chamber hadn't changed. Same long polished table. Same carved masks of ancestors on the walls. Same suffocating silence that held more power than words. Tara walked in with her head high, Daniel close behind. The elders turned slowly, like statues disturbed from slumber. Her father's seat at the head of the table was empty. That emptiness echoed in her chest. Chief Adebayo broke the silence. "Tara West, you stand before this council under charges of rebellion, public disgrace, and violation of tribal marital customs." "I stand here," she said, "because no one listened when I said no." Whispers rippled across the room. Even some of the elders looked uncomfortable. Elder Musa leaned forward. "Do you admit to conspiring with Daniel Cole to defame this council and the chosen groom, Jason Okoro?" Tara took a deep breath. "Jason is not a victim. You all know that. He threatened Daniel. He manipulated my father. He's the reason I left." Daniel stepped forward. "They burned my scholarship acceptance letter, threatened my family, sent men after me." Jason, seated near the doorway with his father, smirked. "All this because she fell in love with a poor boy?" "Enough," barked Chief Adebayo. Then the doors burst open. Tara's mother entered holding a stack of papers. Everyone turned. She was breathless but fierce. "I have documents," she said. "Letters. Proof that Jason's family promised Chief Adebayo a position in the state assembly if the marriage went through. This wasn't about tradition. It was a transaction." Gasps. Elder Musa rose to his feet. "You're accusing this council?" "I'm stating facts," she interrupted. Tara looked at her mother, stunned. They hadn't spoken in weeks. "You kept all this?" She asked. "I wanted to protect you, but it's gone too far. Your father didn't collapse from shame. He was poisoned." The room went still. Jason stood up. "That's a lie." "I found the bottle in your car, Jason," she said coldly. "Your driver confessed." The air cracked open like thunder. Elders began shouting over one another. Jason's father grabbed his son by the arm, but Jason yanked away and bolted from the room. Tara's legs trembled. Daniel held her hand. "You're not safe," her mother whispered. "Neither of you. This goes deeper than we thought." Later that night, back at her childhood home, the house was under guard. Not for their protection, but to keep them from escaping. Tara paced the hallway. "What happens now?" "We wait," Daniel said. "Jason's disappearance only fuels the fire. The press is already calling it a coup within the council." Then a soft knock. A girl in a school uniform stood at the door. She was maybe 16, clutching a phone. "My name is Blessing," she said. "I saw what you did online. I have something you need to see." She played a recording. A video blurry but clear enough. Jason, his voice. "I don't care if she cries. She'll marry me or that old man's heart gives out before the ceremony." Tara's face drained of color. This was recorded before the wedding date," Daniel said, his voice tight. "He planned it." Blessing nodded. "He used to come to my school. I hid this out of fear, but I can't keep it anymore." "Will you testify?" Tara asked. "I will." That night, Tara uploaded the clip. She didn't say a word, just a video, raw, unedited. The internet exploded again. This time the tide turned. Protests formed outside Greenhill. Youths marched, shouting, "Let her choose." Justice for Tara. Free Greenhill. The council issued an emergency suspension of Jason's family privileges. Chief Adebayo disappeared from public view. But the celebration was short-lived, because just before dawn a call came in. Daniel's younger sister was missing, and the message left on their front door was chilling. "You took our power. Now we take yours." It was still dark when Tara and Daniel arrived at the Cole family house. The front gate had been forced open. The porch light flickered like a dying heartbeat. Inside, Daniel's mother sat on the floor, shaking, clutching a scarf that belonged to her youngest daughter, Amara. Tara knelt beside her. "What happened?" "I don't know. They took her while I was asleep. The door was open when I woke up, and this was on the table." She handed them a folded piece of paper. No signature, just 7 words written in charcoal. "You think you've won? Think again." Daniel clenched his fists. "This is Jason," he said. "He's desperate, and desperate men do dangerous things." Tara stood. "We need to go to the police." "They won't help," Daniel replied bitterly. "Half of them owe loyalty to Jason's father. Then we make it public." Before sunrise, Tara was on her phone, uploading a new video. This time her voice was calm but ice cold. "My name is Tara West. My name was once just a name. Now it's a rebellion. A child is missing. Amara Cole. She was taken because we chose love. Because we refused to be puppets. Jason Okoro is a fugitive. If anything happens to her, Greenhill will burn." The video hit 300,000 views before noon. Protesters began gathering in front of the council. Chambers, students, mothers, market women, even school teachers. People with nothing to gain except justice. Meanwhile, Daniel received a message. Unknown number. Voice note only. If you want to see your sister again, bring the girl to the waterfall outside town, alone. No tricks. No cameras. No police. Tara insisted on going with him, but Daniel shook his head. If anything happens to you, too. She stared him down. We've come this far together. I'm not backing down now. They took a borrowed motorcycle and headed for the waterfall at dusk. The path was narrow and winding, slicing through thick bush and jagged rocks. Birds screamed overhead. The roar of the water grew louder. When they reached the clearing, no one was there. Something's wrong, Daniel said. Then a voice echoed from the trees. Well, well, the lovers arrive. Jason stepped out. He looked wild, clothes dirty, eyes bloodshot. Behind him, 2 men dragged Amara forward. She was bound but breathing. I warned you, Jason growled. You ruined everything. My name, my future, my family. You did that to yourself, Tara said. Jason pulled a pistol from his jacket. Trade, he said. Tara comes with me. The girl goes free. No deal, Daniel snapped. Jason pointed the gun at Tara. Then no one leaves. A loud whistle pierced the air. From behind the trees, floodlights came on. Police. Camera crews. Jason turned in panic too late. Officers swarmed. One of the men with him bolted. The other surrendered. Jason tried to run, but slipped in the mud and fell. Tara stepped forward, shaking, but fierce. You always underestimated me, she said. But you forgot I'm my father's daughter. The police cuffed Jason. He didn't resist. Just stared at her with a broken smile. You think this ends with me? Tara didn't answer. She ran to Amara, who was sobbing with relief. Daniel fell to his knees, holding his sister. By sunrise, every news channel in the region was playing the footage. Jason's arrest, the rescue, the scandal, the truth. Tara and Daniel returned to Green Hill as heroes, but the air was still tense. The council was in chaos. Chief Adebayo was still silent, and Tara's mother warned her that not everyone was celebrating. There are those, she said, who've benefited from silence for too long. You lit a match, Tara. Just be ready for the fire that follows. That night, Tara stood at her father's old study window, staring out at the village that was now forever changed. And behind her, in the dark, someone watched, waiting. The sun rose over Green Hill like it always did, warm, golden, unassuming. But for Tara, everything had changed. Jason was behind bars. Amara was safe. Daniel's family had gone quiet, still processing everything. And the council? Splintering. Half of them were demanding Chief Adebayo step down. The other half were convinced Tara had brought shame upon their ancient traditions. But the chief said nothing. Not to the press. Not to Tara. Not even to his advisors. It was his silence that frightened her the most. Daniel walked with her to the town square, where a gathering was already forming. Not a protest this time, an emergency town hall, called by the elders. They're going to use this, Daniel said, to try and finish what Jason started. I'm not afraid, Tara replied. Not anymore. Inside the meeting hall, the mood was icy. Chief Adebayo sat on the raised platform, flanked by elders. He looked tired, older, but his eyes were still sharp. Elder Musa stood. We are gathered because of the dishonor brought to Green Hill. Our traditions have been mocked, our security compromised, our children endangered. He turned to Tara. You, daughter of the chief, brought this chaos upon us. Tara stood slowly. I spoke the truth. That's not chaos. That's clarity. There were murmurs, some in her favor, some not. You defied your father, Elder Musa continued. You defied your betrothal. You shamed your lineage. Do you deny this? Tara's voice cracked, but she held firm. I followed my heart. I uncovered a lie. I saved a child. If that is shame, then your honor is hollow. Gasps filled the room. Chief Adebayo's brow furrowed, but still he said nothing. Daniel stepped forward. She did what none of you had the courage to do. She protected what this village pretends to stand for justice. A younger elder rose. Then let us test this justice. Chief Adebayo must speak. Does he support his daughter, or will he disown her? All eyes turned. The room was silent. Finally, the chief stood. His voice was gravel, but steady. For years I led this village with pride. I believed in silence, in peace at any cost. But silence allowed rot to grow. He turned to Tara. My daughter may be reckless, but she is brave, braver than I ever was. Tears welled in Tara's eyes. She did what I should have done long ago, the chief continued. Jason's father, Councilman Okoro, was my friend. But friendship blinded me. While he grew wealthy, I looked away. While others suffered, I remained still. He turned back to the crowd. But today I choose not to be still. The truth has come out. We must change, or we will lose everything. A hush fell. Then, slowly, people began to clap. First a few, then more. The room roared. Outside, the village erupted in celebration. But back at the family compound, a different kind of storm brewed. As Tara walked into her mother's quarters, she found her sitting by a locked chest. You were right, her mother said quietly. About everything. Tara frowned. What is it? Her mother opened the chest. Inside, a faded photograph. A letter and a necklace. These belonged to your father's first wife. Tara blinked. His what? She died before you were born. She was pregnant with a son. They kept it secret political reasons. When she passed, your father buried the truth. Tara sat slowly. Why are you telling me this now? Because, her mother whispered, he didn't bury it deep enough? That night, Tara received an anonymous message. You're not the only heir. The true son is alive, and he's coming home. A week had passed since the emergency town hall. Green Hill was calmer, but beneath the surface, tension bubbled. Jason had been transferred to the city. Investigations had begun into Councilman Okoro's business dealings. Amara was recovering, and the chief, now a reluctant symbol of change, had retreated into deep silence once more. But Tara couldn't sleep. Her mother's words haunted her. You're not the only heir. The message had come again, this time with a name. Samuel. Tara scoured the archives in the family library. She unearthed a small wooden box, hidden behind volumes of Green Hill's ancient laws. Inside was a child's birth bracelet, inscribed on the band, Samuel Adebayo, born 2002. Her heart skipped. That night, she confronted her father. Did you have a son before me? Chief Adebayo looked away. Yes. Why didn't I know? Because he was taken from me, from us. After his mother died, her family blamed me. There was bad blood. They took the boy to Lagos, I was told he died. But he didn't. The chief stiffened. What do you mean? Tara handed him the message. His eyes scanned the words, then darkened. This can't be. Father, if he's alive, don't you want to find him? The chief didn't answer. The next day, a stranger arrived in Green Hill. Tall, lean, mid-20s. Handsome, sharp eyes. He wore simple city clothes, but walked with quiet confidence. He introduced himself to the guards as Samuel Adebayo and demanded to speak to his father. The guards took him straight to the council house. Tara stood across the courtyard when she saw him, and for a moment it felt like looking into a mirror except colder, more calculated. When their eyes met, Samuel smiled faintly. So you're the golden daughter. Tara approached slowly. And you're the ghost. He chuckled. Not anymore. Inside, the chief sat in disbelief as Samuel recounted his life, how he was raised by his mother's cousin in Lagos, never knowing the full truth, until recently when he discovered the bracelet, the name, the story. I came to claim my birthright, he said. I am the firstborn. The council buzzed. Tara spoke up. You don't just show up and demand the throne. This isn't a monarchy. Samuel's tone stayed cool. Then why were you being prepared for it? The question landed like thunder. Later, alone with Daniel, Tara fumed. He thinks he can walk in, drop a name, and take everything. No, I won't let that happen. Daniel tried to calm her. Maybe he's not here for a fight. Maybe he just wants the truth. Or maybe he wants revenge, she muttered. That night, someone broke into the archive building. Only one document was missing, the late wife's death record. Tara found the broken lock, the smeared footprints, and a single piece of paper shoved under the door. The truth always leaves a trail. The next day, Samuel began meeting with villagers. Quietly, strategically. He told them his version, how the chief had cast him out, how the traditions were twisted, how Tara was trying to erase history. Slowly, people began to listen. Tara confronted him outside the palm wine stand. What are you doing? Introducing myself, Samuel said calmly. To my people. You're dividing the village. No, I'm reminding them who they belong to. Tara stepped closer. You have no idea what I've fought for. He leaned in. And yet you're still just a daughter. The words cut deep. Later that evening, the council called a meeting. This time, Samuel was invited. So was Tara. The chief remained absent. Elder Musa stood. We cannot deny his blood, nor her service. But there can only be one heir. Daniel whispered, they're going to force a vote. Tara's stomach churned. Let them. I'm not afraid. But as she looked across the room, she saw faces that once supported her, now unsure. Samuel's presence was powerful, measured, calculated. And in that moment, Tara realized she wasn't just fighting for love or truth anymore. She was fighting for her place in a story she never knew she was part of. And the story had just begun. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for part 2.